Meta AI is the personal AI to help you with whatever you need. Plus, it meets you where you are. Not only is Meta AI now an app, but it's also on the apps you already know and love. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Plus the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. It's easy to access wherever you are. So whether you're talking or texting, Meta AI is convenient to use throughout your day. Experience our newest AI that's tailored to you by downloading the Meta AI app. Try the Meta AI app today on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist T.J. McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's T.J. McCormack.
And this is 77 WABC. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are here to talk about anything and everything that occurs to us. Literally, whatever crosses our mind and whatever occurs to us in our lives. Me, TJ, and you, the family out there. Good morning. It is 2:06, and wherever you are, the best way to reach is 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. And you can find me on Twitter at TJ McCormack. Reach out there at any time at TJ McCormack on Twitter. The best way to get us, of all is to take us with you. The 77 WABC app. Grab that in any, app store on any platform and, put us in your phone and go. And wherever you might be around the globe, always, WABCradio.com. That's a great way to do it. So another side of midnight here. It's another way of looking at things. It's another way of talking about things. Again, if it happens to you, I want to hear about it. You know, whatever it is that's either, if it makes you tick, I like this. If it makes you tick or if it ticks you off, 1-800-848-9222. And there's a lot to be, looking at. In the last couple of days, this last few weeks have been just pressure packed. Looking at Israel. Last week we spoke to Tel Aviv, Israel live on the air, and we hope to get that same professor with us, if not this morning, tomorrow morning here on Another Side of Midnight, where a top researcher at Tel Aviv University was telling us about the aftermath of the air raids in Tel Aviv the night before, and we're going to be keeping our finger on the pulse there. Because you know what? It's really coming down to, the doomsday clock is ticking for Iran. And I think we're all I think most people are realizing, on both sides of the aisle, and it's the left that definitely they're reticent to say that we're on the right side of this, because it's just a clear win for America and President Trump. But it is clear that the time is now to once and for all, just do it. Just take them out. Finish this threat that Iran poses. The number one, I mean, we all know the number one state sponsor of terror in the world. You know, I mean, they send out their minions and all of their proxies that cause these proxy wars, Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis. I mean, they all get their money and their funding and their radical hate and their marching orders from the Islamic regime in Iran. So here's President Trump. And this is what's interesting about this with Trump too. He's just crystal clear right now. Have you noticed just how clear he is? And he's not doing a lot of that Trump stuff that can Not drive you nuts in a judgmental way. Not that like he ever disappoints or lets you down. I mean, this guy, I'm more, I'm more Trumpian than I've ever been. And I've always been pretty much Trump. But this time around, like a lot of other people, I am all in with both feet. Because you gotta be. You can't be halfway in on Trump. You can't be halfway. Because he's not. If you go halfway with Trump, you're just going to be out of your mind. And right now, just like that desk in the Oval Office, he is resolute. And again, he's not wobbling. There's not a lot of his usual hyperbole. Boy, that was a word from Biden. Boy, Biden loved that word. And that's not hyperbole. And that's not malarkey. Now look. No, with Trump, you know when Trump goes kinda, you see him take that bait in his brain. He'll something will cross his mind and Trump will be walking straight forward and then all of a sudden, over there. He doesn't do that when it comes to this latest thing with Iran. He just stays right on it. And again, just crystal. But we got to do it now. Because here's the thing. If we've got to take out their nuclear capabilities, we have to cut them off at the knees and set Iran on the path towards reformation. Let that crown prince go over there, that guy, the son of the Shah. Let him go over there. He's already out there doing the PR, saying, I'm ready to lead my people in transition. And they're already saying that the people of Iran, they want the transition. We want the Shah's family back. Give us the crown prince. Great. So let's follow through on this. So again, Trump is clear because there's no gray area. One thing that he has been consistent about, and every time he talks about war, he talks about the death. He doesn't like death. He doesn't like it, right? He doesn't like death. He doesn't like dying. He doesn't like when young people are caught up in stuff. Have you noticed that? Because when he talks about Ukraine and other wars, and he talks about the tragedy in Afghanistan when Biden bungled that, he talks about young people dying, right? So something had to happen to him. Something had to happen along the way. What? Because we know, something gave him this guiding principle of not wanting to start wars. And there's a big difference between starting a war and starting a bunch of military action to end a bigger war. So, these people being cute and talking about Trump wanting to, what happened to Trump not being a war starter? No, Trump is a peacemaker. As a matter of fact, we got, they're on the record in the last few hours talking that way. And again, being resolute. Here you go. Let's go with cut 6. Here's Tammy Bruce from the State Department. Oh, sorry. I think we got it.
Yes. Thank you, Tommy. To question one on Iran and the other one on Iraq. I'm sure you may have heard from the Iranian foreign minister, which he said that we are not coming back to the table unless the Israeli stops strikes on Iran. And they are not going to negotiate with the U.S. until the U.S. will stop Israeli to attack Iranian. Are you willing to broker a ceasefire if that helps you to make a deal with the Iranian?
Obviously, I can't speculate on that. I'm not going to characterize what's happening now or the reaction by the President or the Secretary of State to what those negotiations might be. So it's a standard basis here, is we're not going to do that. But as you do know, of course, from the president's remarks, is that he still holds out the hope for negotiations. And there's also been a reinforcement that Iran and its proxy should not target U.S. interests or personnel, and if they do, the consequences will be dire. So we can reinforce that. And, of course, the ultimate red line, which has been repeated constantly, because it's what the president sees as being the most important aspect, is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That is not a negotiable dynamic.
See, and that is something that is just, everyone agrees with that. Everyone knows they're nuts. And everyone knows that that's the sword of Damocles hanging over, but it's been hanging over the whole world forever and ever and ever. And there are unpaid consequences that go all the way back to the hostage crisis when I was in short pants. When I was a young one in short pants and they took, I see Matt, I see Steve. Hang in there, fellas. There's unpaid debt for their actions that we still owe Iran. Iran has been, starting back then after their revolution, and we had the hostage crisis, and after that there's been Khobar Towers, and there's been the Marine barracks, and there's been just anything terror in some way, shape, or form is gonna go back in some fashion, monetarily, planning, manning, whatever it is, to Iran. So just done. Because you know what? Now's the chance. Now we got them. Because otherwise it's going to be like that right now. Right now, this is that moment in the horror film, or this is the moment in that army film, in that war film. This is that moment in that World War II film where the young kid from Oklahoma's got the Nazi right in front of him. And he's kind of shaken, and the Nazi says, "You won't do it." And the kid goes, "Oh, but I will. He goes, "You won't do it. You don't have the nerve." And the kid doesn't do it. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, there he is. There's the Nazi, and he kills the kid from Oklahoma, and we're all crying. But we all know the kid had his chance in the church courtyard. And that's the sound of a machine gun that the kid did not use to kill the Nazi. For a second there, I thought I cursed or something, and the guys were like helping me out. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormack, and it's 2:17, and we're talking about the fact that we got them where we want them. So again, we've got Iran right there. They're softened up. We took care of Hezbollah, took them out of the picture for a long time. At least they're on the side of the road forever. And a lot of their other proxies are definitely licking their wounds. Hamas, because we let Israel do what Israel had to do. And so now we're at that point in the monster movie or in the horror film where we can kill the bad guy, or are we going to be in that beat up pickup truck in an hour, sitting there trying to get it started? And here comes the bad guy. And we can't get out of there. And the call's coming from inside the house and all that. We're at that point in the movie where we got him. Let's take him out. And again, it's calm. It's measured. They're being earnest and concise. The Trump administration. Again, no hyperbole. They're not going nutty. They're not going batty. In cut 18, Caroline Leavitt, 18 and 20. Why don't we go back to back with that, with 18 and 20? Caroline Leavitt, strong as a bull, this woman at the podium talking about the president's plans and our perspective on all this. Caroline Leavitt, she's fantastic.
Trust in President Trump. President Trump has incredible instincts, and President Trump kept America and the world safe in his first term as president in implementing a peace through strength foreign policy agenda. And with respect to Iran, nobody should be surprised by the president's position that Iran absolutely cannot obtain a a nuclear weapon. He's been unequivocally clear about this for decades, not just as president, not just as a presidential candidate, but also as a private citizen. In fact, I have some quotes for you. In 2011, President Trump said America's primary goal with Iran must be to destroy its nuclear ambitions. We cannot allow this radical regime to acquire a nuclear weapon that they will either use or hand off to terrorists. In 2015, the president said the problem is that Iran poses an existential threat to Israel, our Middle Eastern allies, and the United States. And of course, the president has repeated that in his first term as president and his second term as president as well. That's why he was adamantly opposed to the disastrous Iranian agreement that was implemented by President Obama. And it's why he has given great latitude and given a lot of effort to achieving a diplomatic solution. But he's been very clear. Iran went for 60 days when he gave them that 60-day warning without coming to the table. On day 61, Israel 61. Took action against Iran. And as I just told you from the president directly, he will make a decision within 2 weeks.
Hey. And cut 10. Here's Trump himself. I believe he's on the tarmac.
Is this the biggest decision you'll have to make as president?
Well, I can't tell you that. I have to see what happens. I can't, really say that. It depends what the decision is. But I wouldn't really be able to tell you that now. I'll tell you in about a year from now, maybe 5 years or 10 years from now. You never know about decisions. You never really know.
See, right there, that's measured. He's not saber rattling. And sure, he's negotiating. He's negotiating by omission, right? He's negotiating from the sidelines over here. He's dangling his own sword of Damocles over Iran. But again, he's not unhinged as some people would love to throw at him. And he's not being overly dramatic. 1-800-848-9222. This is Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormack. And we're talking about Iran. A little bit later in a show, we're going to talk a little bit about summertime. This kid was struck by lightning the other day in Central Park. And what did he do? He ran the first crack of thunder. He ran under a tree. I mean, even the song says, if you've got fortune falling, don't run under a tree. Don't. First thing you learn when you're a little kid, 6 years old. Now, if you're ever outside and you see thunder lightning, don't go under a tree because the tree gets and it'll fall on you and boom. Kid's a teenager. What the first thing he did? Ran under a tree. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about things that we've been taught in our lives. Golden, great advice that we've gotten that has stuck with us and been fantastic all the way through. Like that. Like, don't go swimming, wait a half hour after you've eaten before you go swimming. I still don't know what that's all about. Cramping, is it? But, that sort of thing. So we're going to talk about summertime. We're going to talk about Kathy Hochul and what the hell happened to her face? What in the Jeebus happened to Kathy Hochul's face? And I'm not being sexist. I'm not being misogynistic. I've had Botox. I've done it. Because I do TV sometimes, and I have veins. I have veins in which I put the Botox. I'm vain. I have heaping amounts of vanity, and so I've had Botox. So and look, yes, she's had. Come on, she's a billboard for Botox. Anyway, something happened the other day where she looked like she was having a stroke. It was weird. So we'll talk about Kathy. We'll make fun of Kathy Hochul. Well, this show is above board and way on top of things. So we'll make fun of her appearance. No, we're going to talk about Kathy Hochul because she's come out with a very, very important PSA about the heat because it's going to get hot and she wants to make sure everybody knows it's going to get hot. And so, you got to stay cool. So what is she going to do? Let's say I haven't even listened to the audio yet, but why do I think we're going to hear about wear loose clothing? We're going to hear about wear loose clothing, hydrate, right? Hydrate and, check on your senior neighbors. Oh, and pets. There's going to be something about pets in there too. Guaranteed. And then, in the second hour, by the way, one of the funniest women you're ever going to hear. One of the coolest women. She's smart Ellen Karras, one of the funniest women out there, comedian Ellen Karras. She's going to join the show 2:00. Going to have a lot of fun there. In the second hour, we're going to have fun with Ellen Karras. We're going to talk about a few more fun things from life. I got a story about. Oh, I said 2:00. Oh, thank you. It's 2:24 now. Thank you. I meant the second hour and the third hour, so 3:00 and 4:00. Thank you very much, Tony. Oh my goodness gracious. It took me a month and a half to finally make that kind of mistake. So, and then at 9:00, no. So anyway, so we got a full show. And then the third hour, the 4 a.m. hour, we are going to talk once again, going to open up these phones. It's a Saturday morning. You, someone you love, someone you can't stand, yourself. We're going to talk about recovery. We're going to talk about if your life is unmanageable, putting down that booze, walking away from that blow, whatever it is, whatever's eating inside of you, whether you've done it already or you're thinking about it or you should have done it a long time ago or you're having a hard time with whatever decision you made. We'll talk about that in our recovery segment coming up in the 4:00 hour. All right. So right now, let's get over to our resident anti-Semite. Let's go to Matt in the Bronx. Hello, you hateful son of a gun.
Yes. With regard to Eric Trump, he was recently interviewed by John Catsimatidis, and he actually hit the nail right on the head insofar as he said that the neocon wars, or rather the wars that we've been fighting over the last 20 years in the Middle East, have only benefited two sets of people, the neoconservatives and the military-industrial complex. And I couldn't agree more, because the neoconservatives were planning for Iraq, Libya, Syria, etc., long before 9/11 occurred. Mm-hmm. And people like Richard Pearl, Paul Wolfowitz, Douglas Feith, they were planning these wars before.
Are all three of those guys Jewish?
I'm sorry?
Are all three of those guys Jewish there, Mr. Goebbels?
They happen to be.
Oh,
but not all neoconservatives are Jewish.
Wow. No, they're not. Mm-hmm.
Paul Rubio is not Jewish. Jean Kirkpatrick was not Jewish.
No.
So again,
sorry.
That being said, it's not only the neoconservatives, but also these defense contractors, Boeing, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman. Yeah. They make bank based on the American people being constantly at war.
Right.
Wasting taxpayer money in these military adventures that do not serve America's national interest.
Is there a Jewish person that you think has been a valuable contributor to society?
That's an idiotic question. There are tons of them.
Not to ask an anti-Semite. What about? I'd love to hear you say something good about Jewish culture. Give me something good about Jewish culture, and you can't get away with saying that you like latkes. You're an anti-Semite.
Do you know who Robert Morris was?
No.
I didn't think you did. He actually financed the American Revolution.
Oh, all right, okay. That's good. Oh, you're sounding a little Kermit-y there, Matt. All right, we're done with Matt. We're done with our anti-Semite. Okay, I like to give him a little oxygen to expose him for what he is. Let's go to Steve in New York City. Good morning, Steve. You are on Another Side of Midnight.
TJ, if you were 6 feet tall, you get any woman you want. TJ,
hey, cheers. All right, there goes Steve. I'm not sure what happened to Steve. Okay, sorry about that, Steve. We'll see. Okay, Steve. Okay, there we go. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormack. And if you're curious about what we were doing to Matt there, Matt calls up and he calls from the Bronx, and he hates Jewish people. And so the only reason that we give him that little bit of oxygen is to expose him for being a very hateful disgusting, despicable human being. And, there we go. Because otherwise, the only other people out there that would be getting all the attention are like, Mahmoud Khalil, who walked out of a detention center tonight. We'll get to that in a little bit too. Let's see. You know what? Let's get to Donna in Jamaica. Good morning, Donna. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. That's me.
Hi, TJ.
Hi.
I agree with you 100% about Iran.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should take them out. I think they've had their time. It's been like 45 years with all the hateful nonsense. And I personally think that if they are put by the wall, they are going to fold like a $2 bill. And I really think so. Andrew has done that every time somebody questions him about something and it doesn't go his way, he folds up and quits. And I think that Iran is going to do that too. I hope I'm right. Maybe I'm not.
No, look, you never know. Hopefully, Donna, that, we've been seeing signs that there's a critical mass happening on the ground in Iran. The women were rising up a few years ago. We see these glimmers of Western culture creeping in. We see these underground gatherings of gay people. We see these women who are trying to write and express themselves and go out without their hijabs. They find themselves beaten and jailed, but God bless them, they go back out again. And so you'd like to think that if they get that one bit of momentum and inertia towards revolution or a re-revolution, because right now is the Islamic revolution is what's is what's ruling over there right now. But if we can facilitate that happening, and if by taking them out at the knees and taking away that one big threat that they possess with this potential nuclear situation, then yeah, Donna, we might push them over the edge and bring about freedom.
I hope so. That's what I'm hoping. And it seems to me that this has been going on for well over 40 years.
Yes.
And it seems to me that the people of Iran, the majority of them are decent, nice people.
Clearly.
And I think they're getting disgusted. And I think, it gets to a point where all of a sudden you get disgusted enough to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I see what's happening in New York City now,
mm-hmm.
and Iran is a lot worse, so I am hoping that that's the case. That's my opinion.
Critical mass. Donna, we might finally elect a Republican named Curtis Sliwa to be mayor of New York City, because New York City is in worse shape than it's been since the 70s. And we've got a failure and a predator, a female predator, and a guy who killed thousands of seniors during COVID. That's who the other two are. Let them split the vote, and our guy comes right through the middle. Donna, I got to jump and take a break, but thank you for calling in. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
When we come back, we got Joaquin and Jay. And how about you? 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848. What do you think about Iran? Do we just go for it now? Do we just go? Peace through strength, through strength, right? Why not? Okay. So we're going to take a quick break here in the 2 a.m. hour. It's 2:33. Time for a quick one. And we shall return. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
I love the early morning family. I love the Saturday morning crew. Shell and everybody out there. Well, I'm sure Patty will check in a little bit. Love that. Love when we hear from Patty in Westchester and Mamaroneck and all of her comings and goings with her crazy people in her neck of the woods, all the liberals up there in Mamaroneck. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. Going to tell you about a guest, by the way, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we got an interesting guest. Tomorrow night. Actually, no. I booked a completely boring, disinterested, lame guest who knows very little about really anything. And so we're going to talk to that person under a rock somewhere. No, tomorrow night, Sunday morning, our Sunday morning show, we are going to be joined live from the UK by this is going to be real interesting. We're gonna talk to an expert in urban disaster survival, because one of the little caveats that you hear, one of the little side things you hear about going after Iran is, what about the cells? What about the people already in place? We've been hearing about this since 9/11, right? We've been hearing about this stuff for a long time. And those cells, the sleeper cells. Remember that? Remember the first time you heard the term sleeper cell and you were like, "Oh my God." So, okay, we've heard a couple of things. We heard one thing about, okay, what if this bunker buster goes in there and it sets off some kind of massive nuclear release in Tehran. Okay, so we're going to, that would have ramifications for the people, the innocent, the civilians in Iran. Okay, they'd have something to do. And the worst case scenario, okay, two words you heard since 9/11, right? Two phrases. The sleeper cell, creepy sounding, and dirty bomb. Right? So, tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, we are going to talk to Professor Lucy Easthope. All right? Professor Lucy Easthope is going to join us from the UK. She's a world-renowned expert in urban disaster and like what we really actually have to be concerned with. And what do you do? What do you do in that situation? It's bad enough when the Yankees and Mets are both home. That's bad enough. Where the hell are we going? Tell you what, I got a buddy of mine, made a lot of money. And he made a lot of money by doing stuff with people who already had a lot of money. And what he would do is he made a fortune, this guy. He's made a fortune several times over with several different great ideas. One of his ideas was he used to hold conferences for wealthy people on how to bug out in case of like a disaster. Like millionaires and billionaires would pay to come to these small conferences of millionaires and billionaires, and they would learn from these experts, like our guest Sunday morning, how to escape from an urban setting in the case of a disaster, what kind of boat you need, how to tell the weather, which way the wind is blowing, where you are in the world if there's fallout. Seriously. And like, these guys would pay top dollar for that kind of thing. And, it's a whole sub-cottage industry of like looking after rich people. What do you do when it all hits the fan? 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. What are you going to do when it all hits the fan? What are you going to do? Like I said, it's bad enough when the Yankees and Mets are in town and there's a parade on Fifth Avenue. We can't get anywhere. Imagine if there's like fallout from a dirty bomb and the Mets and the Yankees are home and there's a parade on Fifth Avenue. It's another side of midnight. Jay from Queens on line 2. Good morning. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning, TJ.
Hello.
I have a couple of things. You got to give me a chance because I'm a famous celebrity.
Okay.
Okay? But first, by giving them 2 weeks to Iran, is too much. Yeah. They're gonna plan things in 2 weeks. That's a mistake he's making.
Well, one thing that we heard him say though, Jay, and it was a couple hours ago, Rita Cosby clarified it for everybody. She was right. Rita, she doesn't miss a thing.
Oh, I love Rita.
Oh, she doesn't miss a thing. Rita helped and clarify, because even I was thinking the same thing you're thinking. I was thinking 2 weeks. I mean, I'm kind of sitting here with my popcorn ready to go. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to wait 2 weeks. I want to see this thing and now. But she clarified. She's right. They have been saying, Caroline Leavitt said, within 2 weeks. Caroline Leavitt said, that Trump was going to get the job done within 2 weeks. Matter of fact, I think, do you have clip 20 there, Tony? Clip 20. Yeah, I think she says it in this clip right here. I think.
So the president is always interested in a diplomatic solution to the problems and the global conflicts in this world. Again, he is a peacemaker in chief. He is the peace through strength president. And so if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it. But he's not afraid to use strength as well, I will add.
Okay, all right. So she didn't say it there. But she did say the most important thing, sir, which is this guy wants to make peace. This guy, again, I wonder what happened, Jay. Because you know what? And everybody else on hold, think about this, right? Yeah. Trump, we know somebody in his family, I believe it might have been his brother, rest his soul, had an addiction problem. I believe we heard anecdotally, and I believe Trump might have even mentioned, the president might have mentioned about a brother of his or somebody in his family who had an alcohol problem. And Trump has, as a result, he's never touched alcohol. A cigarette has never touched his lips. And so he seems to be very driven by experiences in his life. And I'm wondering what it is from his early life. It strikes me as more than just a moral compass, his aversion to war and death. I wonder.
Well, maybe it comes from his father.
Just his dad passing away, maybe. But his dad lived a long life. Didn't his dad live to be kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to hold everybody else up, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna let you in on my famous celebrity.
Okay.
I'm 77 years old.
God bless.
And I'm a veteran. And I left the Army in 1976.
Okay.
Right after the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And I'm 77 years old now. But before going into the Army, I've got 20 years of of being a driving instructor for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And I taught how to drive Robert De Niro's Howard Awesome Howard, how to drive.
Really?
His costume, designer.
No kidding.
Yes, I taught in New York City. They had me. The driving school had me in New York City because I was one of the best.
Jay, you've been everywhere and done everything. Zygazant, baby. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. You're always there. I appreciate it. Joaquin in Pennsylvania, Penn's Woods. I've never forgotten that. Penn's Woods. That's what Pennsylvania means. I know that.
Yeah. So anyway, what you were describing before sounds like a plot for a movie. It's based from New York.
I know. Well, and that's it. Oh, I'm hearing myself in the back. Oh my God. It's the first time in my radio career that I've heard Yeah. Turn your radio down for me there, Joaquin.
I don't have a radio.
You don't have it on? I just shouted so loud. I heard my own voice from New York. I love it. That's how loud I am. My poor wife.
That's weird. No, because I'm listening to you on the phone.
Yeah.
And I was listening to you on hold.
I don't actually have a radio. I kicked through. It's okay. I kicked through. So go ahead, Joaquin. What's on your mind?
First of all, I am curious as to what Matt's heritage is. And some of the things that he says, I mean, there are some things he says accurately, and of course there are times that the neo-concept taking us to wars and it's questionable, But the other side of the coin is this. The history of mankind is one of those who conquer and those who are conquered, okay? Mm-hmm. And if you look through the history, between, unfortunately, the Islamic nations, and the United and Judeo-Christian Western civilization, it's always been there. And even go right back to the founding of our Navy, the Department of the Navy, and our Marine Corps, which was established in response to the Barbary Wars, which were in response to the Barbary pirates, which were Muslims. And when Jefferson, and Madison went to London to meet with the Bey of Algiers, I think it was, they asked him, why do you enslave our people. Why do you, make war on us when we do nothing to you? And he says, it's because in the Quran, Allah tells us that we can do to the infidels as we will. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, and this has gone on all the way back, and Rita likes it when I mention the Polish king, John III. Oh, now I can't think of his last name. But anyway, it was the Battle of Vienna, who turned, the Muslims around there were invading Europe. There were millions of white slaves on the continent of Africa, and so this whole thing right now, it's a matter of survival. And unfortunately, previous administrations have strengthened the Iranian government. The Iranian, the mullahs, they had given them pallets of cash. They opened up, their ability to sell oil to to our enemies.
And that's the beauty of the moment, is that we can finally put an end to this. And you know what else is interesting too, Joaquin? Is the silence of the usual. It's not like they've always had. It's not like they have had these cheerleaders on the side. It's not like Saudi and Qatar and it's not like the rest of the Middle East. Because again, I know they're Arabs and these are Persians, but I mean there haven't been even those people those groups and countries who had tacitly sort of just at least kind of supported they're nowhere to be found right now. They have got Iran is all alone.
Well, even when it comes down to Islam, I mean, there are so many different sects of Islam, So, I mean, just so happens that, these particular ones, they're fundamentalists. They go by exactly what the Quran says, and, when they say that Allah hates the spilling of innocent blood, well, the translation of innocence actually is faithful Muslims. So
interesting.
You have to. I read the Quran once, cover to cover.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
And I've read other books, and I try and look things up, so that I don't have a knee-jerk reaction to things. But
Gotcha.
But this is what the history of it is. And when it comes down to Israel, Israel is a sovereign nation.
100%. And again, and everybody's rooting for him right now. You gotta forgive me. I gotta take a break here. Sorry, Joaquin. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. Steve is right there in Bed-Stuy. Hang in there, Steve. When we come back, coming straight to you. We're talking about Iran and finally knocking the legs out from under this number one state sponsor of terror all around the world. The next hour, in the 3:00 hour, we're going to talk to one of the funniest women in the world, Ellen Karras. We're talking to her coming up in the 3:00 hour, having a lot of fun with Ellen. And we're going to talk about, Kathy Hochul blowing a lot of hot air out of a really we'll talk about Kathy when we come back with Steve. 1-800-848-9222. It's Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormack. This is 77 WABC. Stay right there.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
In Central Park, we had a massive, crazy, the skies opened, it was one of those movie thunderstorms, clap of thunder, and a bolt of lightning, and boom, that's it, and the skies open. Kid ran under a tree. And you're not supposed to run under a tree. You're not supposed to do that. And the kid did, and he paid the price, and it's a shame. But he got out. He made it. He's in the hospital. I mean, it's not like, it's not like he walked away whistling. He walked away glowing a little bit. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. Actually, I tell you what, that same day, Georgia and Steve, I swear to God, we're coming to you. Just stay right there. I'll tell you in the next hour. But I had a close call. I had a close call in the car with my daughter up in Westchester County. I had a very close call And it was, and it was one thing that delayed me getting out of the house that probably saved us. Timing. Steve in Bed-Stuy, you're sitting there like a good fella. Thanks for waiting. Good morning.
Good morning. Kathy Hochul had just been appointed by Killer Cuomo, and she came to my show I was performing in Bay Ridge. I'm doing it again on the 29th with Justin. Anyway, the people booed her so terribly, but she was saying, I love the Grateful Dead, I love the Allman Brothers, I love the Doors, I love it. And I felt, well, she's praising my music. So I bought her an ice cream cone. I gave it to her. She said, oh, I needed this. Thank you. What's your name? You're my hero. So I said, Steve, et cetera, and I got to go back on the stage. I'm with the second band, too. When I went to the drummer, the leader of the band, can I say his name? Anyway, he said, yeah, that's what you did? Was there white cream running down her cheek?
What?
And she said, you're my hero?
Ew, Kathy. But something. I mean, look, she's the luckiest politician in America. She's an accidental governor. And anybody who thinks that anybody who knows Andrew Cuomo and why he does what he does, the man knows all the levers of power, knows the right move to make at the right time, except when it comes to seniors and pandemics. But that guy, the entire reason he chose her was because he wanted a weak, dim-witted, dim bulb to be his lieutenant. I mean, it's simple as that. He picked she was an Erie County legislator. She was like a town supervisor and then like a legislator. I don't think did she maybe make the state assembly? I've never given her resume, any sort of credibility in my time. So, but accidental governor. She was right place, right time. Just a dopey individual, and you see it in her eyes. There's nobody home. Thanks for calling, Steve. Let's get to George quickly in Rockland County. George, you're on Another Side of Midnight. I'm TJ.
Hello, TJ. I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you.
Kathy Hochul served one term in Congress.
That's right.
She's also a big liar. She said that she worked in a pizza place as a teenager, and the people who owned the place wouldn't let her go to her graduation. What a liar. Oh, wow. That was an anti-Italian slur when she did that. I just want to tell you that is Curtis Lewa campaigning in New York City? I don't hear anything about Curtis.
He's been in the Bronx. He was all over. He was campaigning with what's her name? I'll pull it up while you're talking. Yeah, no, he's out there, man. But believe me, Curtis, there's no holding him back. He is a campaign machine, that guy. He's out there.
I know that, but he doesn't get the marketing and the publicity from the news stations and everybody. If it's going to be a four-way race, we got to get him in there because, the rest of the country doesn't realize if New York City gets one of these lunatics in there as mayor, all the leftists, they're the first ones to run. They're going to run into your neighborhoods and live there and destroy the politics over there.
Yeah.
Now, let me switch gears about Iran and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia doesn't want Iran destroyed. They don't want that country destabilized. I know it's a romantic thing to have the Shah's son fly in and save the day and the sun will come out. It doesn't happen in that part of the world. We're not that naive. That trade deal that Trump made with Qatar and everybody, $1 trillion
right.
We're going to invest in America. They just did that, the Middle East and Saudis and Qatar, so they keep those visas going like hotcakes so they can send them out there and bring everybody in with visas and hotcakes. That's what it is. They're giving them out like hotcakes.
Yeah.
To the Saudi Arabia, they don't want Iran destroyed. It's going on 45 years now. With Iran.
Hey, George, I'm sorry, buddy. You gotta forgive me. I gotta jump. This is the unavoidable hard break. And by the way, it's Vicky Palladino. I'm sorry, Vicky. I forgot your name real quick because I'm concentrating on 8,000 things, including George's story. Isabel, don't move. I want to talk to you when we come back from the break. Do not move. Isabel in Manhattan. It's Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormack. This is blessedly 77 WABC. Thank you, God.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
How are you? Where are you? What are you doing? What are you doing up? What are you doing up? What are you doing while you're up? My name is TJ McCormack. This is Another Side of Midnight here on 77 WABC. Thanks so much for joining, family. I appreciate it. Check in and say hi any number of ways. Over on Twitter, it's at TJ McCormack. And right here, it's 1-800-848 9222, 1-800-848-WABC. And, you can also grab the 77 WABC app. You can do that. You can go to, WABCradio.com. You can do that. And, so welcome to the 3 a.m. hour, 3:06. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I say this every time. I love that we are branded as Another Side of Midnight. Because there's so many things out there that we're going to be talking about, that we can talk about, that we will talk about. In fact, really, honestly, if something crosses your mind while we're talking about a particular thing, we're talking about Iran, and something strikes your fancy, and you realize you meant to bring something, give a call, send a note over on Twitter, and we'll pick it up. And so here in, again, as we said, if it makes you tick or it ticks you off, that's what we're going to talk about here. So this hour, we're going to have some fun. In a very short while, we're going to talk to Ellen Karras. She's a very funny woman. She's got so much energy. She's just one of the smartest. She had a whole career on Wall Street. She's a CPA. And I can't believe it. Yeah, right. Yes. Funny, energetic CPA. Not often in the same paragraph or universe. But in Ellen's case, this is a funny woman. She's a great stand-up comic. We've been on TV many times together and radio many times. She's been on a couple of shows that I've done over the years. And, she's going to join us tonight here on 77 WABC on Another Side of Midnight. We're going to talk to Ellen in a little bit. And, also we are, talking to, tomorrow night. We're going to talk, because we just finished talking about Iran. We're going to talk to a really fascinating expert in, the doomsday scenario. All right. This definitely slides into that Another Side of Midnight sort of thing that we do here, right? Professor Lucy Easthope is an expert in urban disaster and surviving an urban disaster. Because one of the things that comes up when we talk about Iran and the ramifications of going after them is, all right, we may take care of business right there in the sandbox, right there in Tehran. We might take care of stuff in the interior of Iran. But people talk about it, say, hey, don't forget, got those sleeper cells out there. Don't forget, they still got their proxy dudes out there. And whatever happened to those 6 suitcase bombs? What happens if some insane crew pulls off something nutty, terrible, in the middle of Manhattan, the middle of Detroit, downtown Chicago? So we're going to talk to Lucy Easthope tomorrow, straight from the UK, tomorrow morning. And we're going to talk about, what does it mean? What do you look for? How do you handle it? What do you do? How do you get out of town? Is that your first move, to get out of town? Or do you shelter in place? I don't know. It's 3:09. I asked Isabel to stick around. Isabel, in Manhattan, line 2. Good morning. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hi, TJ. It was President Trump's older brother that was addicted to alcohol or drugs, and he died young, and he had spoken to Donald about keeping away from lethal substances.
Okay, so it was his brother, and he did die young, did he? Okay,
Yes.
all right. I thought he had died just, at a normal. Oh, that's a shame. Right? So now that can definitely put the shock into somebody, and you can imagine that'll keep somebody the heck away from drugs and alcohol, right?
That's right. That's right.
Do you have anybody in your life, anybody in your universe that's struggled with that, Isabel?
No, just some friends, yes.
It's sad, isn't it? Because
one friend, in fact, he died of cirrhosis of the liver.
Ooh.
It was a long time ago before they could operate on the liver.
That's a rough way to go.
Yes,
it's a really tough situation and very sad. And there's people you want to help and you want to get in there and well, thanks for calling, Isabel. Thanks for clarifying that for me. I appreciate that. 1-800-848-9222. My name is TJ McCormack. This is Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. And, what, Isabel just referred to, we're going to talk about it in the 4:00 hour. Experience, strength, and hope. That's recovery. It's experience, strength, and hope. It's what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And I'm a blessed guy. In July, barring any sort of stupidity or any intervention on the part of the devil himself, I'll be sober 20 years. And, living life on life's terms, right? That's what it's all about. And so, at 4 a.m., which is 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning, if you're struggling, hello, you'll be there. Or if you're struggling because someone you love is struggling, you just can't sleep because you don't know where they are. You can give a call anytime, by the way. You don't have to wait till 4 a.m. And I'm not being all dramatic here. I'm literally just talking. I'll never go for the drama. I'll go for the laugh with you guys. I'll go for the laugh. I'll do the silly thing. I'll absolutely lampshade. Never met a lampshade I didn't like. Got a collection of lampshades all in my size hat. All in my hat size. I'll go for the laugh. I'll go for the question that'll draw you, but I'll never make stuff up and I'll never go for the drama. And in this case, I'm saying it's 3:13. Are you sitting up and waiting for somebody right now? Is there somebody that you don't know where they are? And they're out there, literally out there, struggling. Their life is unmanageable. Is your life unmanageable? 1-800-848-9222. You can call anytime about that stuff because if you get the inspiration, but you think, oh no, he said 4. No, there's never a bad time to call about that. And if you have a good story to tell, especially if you're on the right side of it, if you're like me and you're blessed and you've been able to so far as of 3:13 in the morning, slay that beast and not drink or use today. By all means, if you've got a good one and you've got a story of winning, call us up. And I'll tell you this, by the way. So the kid goes out there. This kid's out there in Central Park. And he gets struck by lightning because he ran under a tree. And your whole life, you're told, don't do it. Robert's got a story for us. So we're going to talk to Robert in 1 second. But cut 2. Do me a favor, Tony. Would you hit cut 2 for me, please? This is the kid who got struck by lightning. You know how badly I want you to push that button? I want to hear a kid go, I saw the No? He doesn't sound like that. See, I told you guys I'd go for the cheap joke. I'm sorry. But actually, can I call myself? Is there a way for me to talk to myself on the, we'll have to figure that out.
As long as you don't answer yourself back, you'll be okay.
Anyway, go ahead. Let's hear the kid. I think it was cut 2 from me, cut 2. Yeah. We have it. I could be wrong. No, TJ's. That's okay. We can talk to Robert. We'll talk to Robert real quick. Let's go to Robert in line 1. Hey there, Robert. Good morning.
Hey, TJ. How are you?
I'm all right, brother. I'm all right. So tell me, what is your lightning story? And by the way, if anybody out there has a lightning story, or, a close call or anything, any kind of crazy weather story, 1-800-848-9222. Go ahead, Robert. Thanks again for calling. And what's your story?
Well, I was hiking up in Harriman State Park with my daughter and wife, and there was a storm. It was raining all day, and there was a bad storm coming into the Ramapo River Valley over the hill, over the mountain. And we were standing there where Route 17 crosses the Appalachian Trail, and there's a little payphone set up there for hikers. And we were talking to another guy that was hiking the trail, and he was trying to call his daughter to let him know, a wellness call. And the lightning, his thunder started really bad, and I said, let's go stand under the trees. Because what you're saying is not 100% correct. You can stand under a lot of trees, but just don't stand under one tree when it's the only tree in the field.
Wait. But doesn't standing under... I'm going to get emphatic just because we're on the radio and, there's a little bit of theater involved. But wait a minute, Robert. Right. Hold on a minute. You're telling me stand under one tree, it's bad. But I would imagine, and I think a lot of people listening would say, hold on a minute. If I stand under a lot of trees, that's just simply increasing the odds that I'm going to be standing under a tree that gets struck by lightning.
But it's the highest thing that the lightning will seek the closest thing to a ground. So one tree in the field will be that vector for the lightning. But a lot of trees, it's going to disperse to where that lightning is going to hit. It's, you know what I mean? It's the odds. It's a probability thing. But let me finish the story, though. The story gets better.
Go ahead. Pardon? Yes. Okay. So I thought it was 1 in a million. Go ahead. So story gets better. So, by the way, you said a payphone? Yeah. Is there a payphone on the Appalachian Trail? Like an actual payphone, or it's just like a phone?
An actual payphone where Route 17 near Tuxedo.
So up there, where the Tuxedo was named. The men's evening suit was named in Tuxedo, New York.
Exactly.
Yes, I know that. And so, in other words, so it's lovely. So when you go when you go out on the Appalachian Trail, you've got to bring water, bedding, insect repellent, and quarters.
I guess, unless it's a credit card, you can use cards now.
Now you're complicating things. So go on with the story there, Robert. What else happened?
Okay, so everyone on the trail, first of all, has a nickname, a trail name. And his name, this gentleman, elderly gentleman that was calling his daughter, his trail name was Froggy Jumper. So we walked away from the
Was Froggy with him? Was his Froggy with him?
No,
was that his wife?
That was his...
Is his wife Froggy? I'd like to introduce you to Froggy and Froggy Jumper. Froggy Jumper? Okay, go on.
Got it.
Thank you.
So we walked away from him, and we walked under a lot of trees, like where it was heavy tree cover, and the lightning hit near the phone where he was standing, where we were standing, and his foot jerked up while he was on the phone. His foot, like arc reflex kind of thing, the nerves, it hit straight up. Like a froggy on an electrode, sticking an electrode into it. That's what I thought right away. It's like, oh my God.
Sure.
So it makes you think there's a simulation going on when you see little signs like that, like made off with the money. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? Who wrote this script? But anyways, so that was the wrap up of the story.
Wow.
Basically, was that. Yeah, Froggy Jumper and then he walked up after that and he goes, did you see that? And it's like, my foot, the lightning hit so close and it dissipated, I guess, the static on the ground and it caused his foot to jump up. But thank God, he didn't get hit hard. It was close. It was maybe 10, 15 feet away from him.
You know what? Why don't you just go walk on a high school track? I got nothing. I got no time. I don't like bugs. I don't like the wetness. I don't think I think I'd be freaked out by all the people. What's your trail nickname? Robert? You still there?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Robert, what's your trail nickname?
I don't have a trail nickname. We weren't even on the Appalachian Trail. We were just in Harriman State Park, and the Appalachian Trail happens to cross through at that point.
Oh, okay. If you had a trail nickname, what would it be? Don't say Bob. That's a cop out. Bob, would you be Bob?
Pantera pardus.
Pantera pardus. What does that mean?
Black Panther. Black Panther in Latin.
That's sexy. That's
the
very
scientific
sexy.
name.
Turns out Robert's a sexy hiker. All right. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. We got the cut there. So here's the kid who got struck by lightning.
Hit frightening moments in Central Park. A teenager struck by lightning.
He's in the hospital tonight and talking exclusively with Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon.
A day in the park ended up as a night in the hospital for high school sophomore Yassine Khalifa. He was enjoying a Central Park picnic with friends on this holiday near the East Meadow when the storm suddenly blew in.
I lean up against the tree and I tell them, oh, guys, let's ride out the storm, which in hindsight might have not been the best idea.
Of course, the team would have no way of knowing that tree would be hit by lightning, the jolt knocking him unconscious for a few minutes. But he was alert when he was taken by ambulance here to Weill Cornell, where he tells us by phone tonight he is surrounded by loved ones being treated for second-degree burns and expecting to make a full recovery.
Apparently, I'm pretty lucky because my spine was directly against the tree and no nerve damage happened.
Wow.
So I'm not losing any sort of motor function. So I'm pretty happy about that.
I tell you what, thanks. So I tell you what, you see now right there, the kid, now one thing I do understand is that he was wearing a chain at the time. He was wearing a necklace, wearing a chain, and apparently that thing started dancing. From what I understand, it was an eyewitness account. It said the chain on the kid started just zapping away, started arcing. And this is one blessed kid. And so do you have a story like this? Have you guys ever had a close call like this? Any kind of close call, by the way, because here's my close call. I see Tony and I see George. They don't move. I see, my close call was the same thing. Same day. It was the same day, but it was one of the early morning. We had a lot of wind and rain up in northern Westchester. I live up in Westchester. And I'm driving with my daughter, my 16-year-old daughter, who is learning how to drive. She's got a permit. We're in the car. And just before I got in the car with her, okay, here's one of those things. The liner on my sneaker wasn't in my shoe. I took it out of the closet and it wasn't there. The insole wasn't in there. And so I had to go fumbling around. I had to go fishing for it in the closet. Way too many shoes. I live in a house with three women, my wife and my two teenage daughters. I have got more shoes. I have got more shoes than have been cobbled. And I honestly, if the elves showed up to repair our shoes, the elves would say, absolutely cannot get this done. Geppetto would walk in. Okay. Anyway, so I had to fish out the insole from my sneaker, right? Took me about maybe 16 seconds. Felt like 16 seconds. Grab it, get it in my shoe, out the door. My daughter's in the car running. She's excited to be driving to high school, right? Okay. Again, permit, so I've got to be with her. We're going down a hill away from our house, and had we continued, had we had that 16 seconds, we would have been about 16 seconds in front of us, put it that way. An entire tree comes down across the entire breadth of the road that we were driving. And an inexperienced driver, my 16-year-old, driving 6 months, going down a hill. And I'm telling you right now, I know how fast we were going. I know where that tree came down. It was the insole. That is what kept us from being under that damn tree. And my inexperienced driver daughter, even if she saw that thing, She wouldn't have had the wherewithal. I imagine it would have been an amazing blessing if she had the wherewithal to gun it, hit the brake, whatever it was. Close call. Do you have a close call like that? I've got a few in life. We gather them. We all know them. And obviously there were close calls or we wouldn't be here to talk about them. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. What's your close call? Tell us on another side of midnight. Tell us right now. What's your close call? What, if not but for the grace of God, would you not be sitting here right now calling me? George in Rockland County. Good morning. You're on another side of midnight. I'm TJ.
Oh, hi, TJ. This is a story I could relate for everybody, Yankee fans out there. When Phil Rizzuto would hear thunder and lightning, he would run out of the broadcast booth or run off the baseball field. Because when he was in the minor leagues, he was playing shortstop, and the center fielder got hit by lightning and was killed. And whenever there's lightning and thunder, Phil Rizzuto would always run. The scooter would be virtually the scooter and get out of there. And
wow, holy cow!
Yeah,
right. Wow. Honestly, I knew that he would go. I knew that he would leave the stadium. I know sometimes he would just go home. He would get in the car and go home. Well, he always left early, especially towards the end of the career. But I didn't know that tragic part of the story. Wow, that's fascinating, George.
Right, and he'd be on that bridge. The game was still going. He had to get home to Cora.
Right. I love being old enough to know that. George, what's your comment on Israel and Iran?
Oh, my comment on that is this has been going on for so long, and I just think Saudi Arabia's never mentioned they're a major player inside this. They really don't want Iran destroyed. Right. These tactics Iran is using, people have to know, were given to them from the Russians. Don't fight America. You fight proxy wars all over the place, and you have you have an out. You have the ability to say, well, we had nothing to do with that. Well, we had it. But meanwhile, they're arming and everything. They're in bed with each other with the money and the oil and everything. Yeah. The only thing we could do is have a powerfully strong America. We don't have it no more, TJ. Look at California. I mean, come on. They lie to us. They condition us. There's a talk show host, I call him Big Bird, and he uses a lot of my lines. He hears me call talk radio, he uses my lines. But Big Bird, the Tower of Jelly, Jesse Kelly, he just doesn't want to blame China or all these other countries.
There we go. All right, George. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for calling out there in Rockland County. 327 here on 77 WABC. It's another side of midnight. My name is TJ McCormack, and we've got Tony in Clifton. You've been waiting there for a couple minutes. Thank you, Tone.
Hi, TJ. Hey. You're making me laugh as usual. So,
thank you.
And it's been a pretty explosive week, news-wise.
Yes.
But when I think of Kathy Hochul, and I call her Kathy Hokum because my friend Curtis used to do that. We call her Kathy Hokum. So I have an impersonation of her, and it's my only one, but it's not good. But I just love doing it, and it's like late night. I just want to laugh.
I love this. All right. So, do you want me to set you up? Do you want to pretend that you're like what's a good setup? How do I do this? Like, what do you want? Like, do you want me to ask you a question? Is there a question that I can ask you to set up the impression?
Well, I think she kind of said this after the whole Zeldin, like when, Zeldin lost for governor and, so
all right.
Then she had a comment. I think. I'm not quite sure.
We'll take a shot. Okay, we'll take a shot. And so joining us on the line from Albany is the 57th governor of the state of New York, Kathy Hochul. Governor Hochul, congratulations on your close. It was a narrow victory over Lee Zeldin. Any comment?
TJ, listen, we're fighting to bring the government back to the people and out of the hands of dictators. And we're here to say that the era of Trump and Zeldin and Molinaro, just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? TJ, get out of town because you don't represent our values. Get out of town. You're not New York.
And we're here to say that the era of Trump and Zeldin and Molinaro just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out of town.
They can't.
Your jaws move. That's how you get that. The era of Trump.
Yeah, era of Trump.
Grinds her jaw when she says it.
She says it's era of Trump. And Zeldin's
Get out of town.
Get out of town.
He's like a gangster's mall. Get out of town.
A gangster's mall. Tony, I love your references.
I know.
Wow.
It's not so good, but I love
It's
doing
great.
it.
No. That is delicious. I love that you called. I love you
And
said.
we're here to say that the era of Trump and Zeldin and Molinaro just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out.
Oh God, Tony, I love that you called up and said, look, it's 3:30. I want to laugh. So I'm going to call up the radio and I'm going to do an impression. I love that. That is what Another Side of Midnight is all about. Right there with the family. It's like, you know what? It's like you came back into the dining room and, with another drink, another cup of coffee, another boot, and you say, oh, hey, you know what, gang? Wait, before I go to bed, I'm going to do my impersonation. Or somebody says, hey, Tony, do your Kathy, do your Hochul. I love that. This is like a family hang. That's what's beautiful about this. All right. Tony, thank you so much, love. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, okay? 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. It's the other side of midnight, Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack, and the family's all here. We got Robert and Mike hanging out on the phones. We'll get right there. Let's take a quick break. It's 3:30. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. By the way, later this morning, I got to go to a family party. And we're in the dysfunctional season. I'll leave it there for the moment. I'm not being cute. I'm really willing to tell you guys everything. If I have to, if I must. But I'm curious too, and this probably falls under the whole recovery thing, which, by the way, that's coming up at 4:00. We're going to talk about that. But I'm wondering, because I'm being very selfish right now. I'm thinking about the fact that I got to go see some people tomorrow, and it's going to be it hasn't been right for some time. You got anything like that in your universe? Just wondering. 1-800-848-WABC, 1-800-848-9222. It's Another Side of Midnight. I'm TJ McCormack. Stay right there.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Are you kidding me? To be here at 77 WABC, absolutely the gold standard, like in forever, the entire history of talk radio. This is it. And wow, just, thank you, gang. Thank you so much. I am really digging this, being here on Another Side of Midnight. TJ McCormack with you, 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. And, so we're like, about 9 hours into summer, and at the 4-hour mark, because it's going to get a little sticky, Kathy Hochul just had to stick her nose in, had to say something. Oh, okay. She had to, because you know what? Sometimes elected officials, they feel they need to work to sound relevant. You know what, actually? Because I bet you, I want to go to Robert because he's got something about the kid in Central Park. Robert, line 3. Thanks for calling in. Good morning. What about the kid? It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame, but I'll tell you, there are quite a few people that survive lightning. It's either an explosion or a lot of heat. And it could be, 700, a million volts,
really?
much more than that. Yeah, but the problem, but the why he's alive, there's no amperage to it, so there's no transformer. That's why they live. If it was the train tracks, so the train tracks is only, the third rail is only 600 volts, but the amps are 1,500, and that's what kills you. It's like the push behind the current.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay.
So if he had amperage, he would be dead.
So in other words, it's the fact that and again, this is the TJ's.
So it's natural volt.
It's just pure electricity. It's just pure electricity and natural volt as opposed to something that's got a lot of push behind it.
Yeah, it's a heat and push, and the lightning is, what the wood, the dry wood, it could split it in half. You ever see that?
Yes.
The trees that are old, just like whap.
Right.
It. So it has power and push, and it could be quite a bit of voltage, but no amperages, no transformer, no capacitor.
Wow.
The difference with the.
All right. Thanks there, Robert. Thank you, brother. I love the knowledge. And Mike on line 4. Mike's got something about lightning strikes, too. Morning there, Mike.
How you doing? I'm on?
Yes. Hello. Good morning, Ohio.
Hey, it's the first time I ever heard you. I like you.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's not too serious. It's just enough fluff. It's good.
Yeah.
But anyways, I almost got struck by lightning. This is the first time I ever told this story in my life. So if I would have died this afternoon, nobody would have known this.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Anyways, I was in the Army in Germany back in the 80s, right?
Okay.
So anyways, and I used to have this girlfriend, and I used to have to walk to her house, to her little cul-de-sac, to go pick her up or whatever. And if I was like 1 minute late, she'd be gone, and I'd have to go find her. But anyways,
boy, them Germans, huh? They run on precision time. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like 1 minute late, we always went to the same thing. But anyways, I went there, and when you go there, in Germany, they got like railroad tracks. They'll have like a little cave that you can walk underneath them. I don't know if you ever seen that. In Germany, there's no crosswalk. There's no cross things for trains.
Oh, they have
under
underpass.
you and over you.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yes, gotcha.
So there's a medieval town. I'm walking home from the girlfriend, and the only way in and out of this little cul-de-sac is through this little cave that goes underneath the railroad tracks.
Okay.
And you got to even like duck to get through it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's like a little cats there, 'cause that's the only way to get in and out. So there are always cats wanting food and stuff. So anyways, I'm walking home, and I go underneath this thing, and it was rumbling out. It wasn't, raining or anything. It was like early, right when the sun's starting to go down, and you could hear a little rumbling in the clouds.
Sure.
And I go through this thing, and I stopped, and I turned around and looked back, to see if, I was like interested in this thing. It's like, man, look at this thing. That little railroad track goes over this thing. It's just thin enough for the train to go over, And all of a sudden, boom, lightning strikes the railroad tracks right in front of me, like at eye level, like 15 feet from me.
Wow. Oh, so it's like what the guy was just talking about. It was the highest point. So that metal above you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And anyways, and then I started running. I started running my ass off, and it was like a kind of wooded area, and there was like a business there with guys hanging out, and they're all laughing their ass off. They seen the whole thing, and they're all laughing their ass off.
Okay.
But the guy said about the amps.
Yeah.
That's why tasers, that's like high voltage, 0 amps. That's like a huge, it doesn't kill you because it doesn't have hardly any amps, or it doesn't have any amps probably, or whatever.
Mike, I gotta tell you what, man, you sound like some of that electricity got into you and it never left. You have got a lot of energy at 3:42 in the morning here on 77.
I couldn't sleep. I was just laying around.
I'm
retired or whatever, so
you're retired?
I don't have nothing else to do.
What did you do for a living before you retired?
I was a merchant marine.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was, you know the Captain Phillips route?
Yeah.
Down to, to the Suez Canal, all the way to India and stuff like that. I did that same route, like a zillion times.
Did you ever? And I've just got to go for it. So listen, I got to. So I mean, this whole pirate thing. By the time you retired, I don't know when you quit, but I mean, by the time you retired, you must have at least encountered pirates once or twice or 10 times.
Well, that Captain Phillips thing happened while I was, doing that same route. The Maersk ships, the Maersk, whatever, Alabama, all those Maersk ships.
All the Maersk. Oh, yeah. So what did you do on the ship? What was your job as a merchant?
I was a mechanic or whatever, QMED.
Oh, my God. That, you see now, right there, that's a bunch of men's men. Were there any women on those crews, or was it all dudes?
Yeah, sometimes.
Tough women, though, right? Tough women.
Usually a cook or something like that.
Okay, all right, okay.
Once in a while you'd run into them.
Uh-huh.
But, anyways, they used to have Navy SEALs on the ship.
To protect you guys?
To protect us. And I think they just did it. They did that after the Captain Phillips.
Right.
And I think they just did it for insurance purposes.
What was the closest call you ever had when it came to pirates? Was there ever a moment when you were out there with pirates that you thought, oh my God?
I was out there before when this whole thing happened, this Captain Phillips stuff.
Yeah.
And I seen a skiff out there. I was on deck doing something, working on something.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen a skiff out there, and I told my boss, "Hey, look at there's a little skiff out there," and they called back, or they rerouted the ship to avoid the skiff, and I'm the one who said it and stuff like that. And I've been to all those countries. I've been in Aqaba, Jordan. I've been in
when you say all those,
Oman, that's where they're having the talks right there.
Right.
I've been there a bunch of times. And there, other countries, they have gunboats to escort the ships
one
there.
of the things I've seen that's so unbelievably fascinating, Mike, is and by the way, if anybody else has a question for Mike about this, you can, before we let him go, if you have a quick question, 1-800-848-9222. Mike, I've seen videos on social media of boats out there in those waters preparing for, and eventually they recorded some of these assaults. But I mean, I see they deploy razor wire, they deploy spikes, and they have like harpoon guns and bows and arrows and machine guns. You guys basically make that ship unboardable, don't you? I mean, that's the first thing.
Yeah, well, they got the water hoses going and stuff like that, and they got patrols all the time. There's always a guy walking around outside with a gun or whatever.
Yeah.
And later on the ship, they were talking about it. They were talking to us about it.
Yeah.
And they had on the, up on the bridge, they would have a guy with like a sniper rifle. And the bullets they used were like, they would make a big splash that when they would go into the water, it'd make a huge splash.
Right.
So if somebody was approaching, they would shoot in front of it.
Wow.
And they could see the splash going up.
Did you ever see anybody get killed? Did you ever see anybody get killed? I'm not being cute. I'm asking respectfully. Did you ever see that happen?
No, but I've heard stories.
Oof.
But I've almost was killed. I was an electrician, and talk about the amperage when you plug in those containers.
Yeah.
If you get electrocuted by that, you're like dead as shit.
Whoa. Dump. Ah, perfect. Mike, gotta watch your language. I wonder if Mike hears this song, and I wonder if a tear comes to his eye.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi.
Gitchagumi.
The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of
November turn gloomy. Dave in Lockport, stay right there. You've been hanging on.
26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty.
3:47. It's another side of midnight. I'm TJ McCormack.
True was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early.
We'll be right back. 77 WABC.
Pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin.
It's another side of midnight. 77 WABC. It's another side of midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
It is another side of midnight. My name is TJ McCormack at 77 WABC. I love being here. I love talking to you guys. And over there on Twitter, we've got our dear friend Ribardic, who's over there in the UK. So we've got the UK is over there, a dear friend of ours and a supporter of the show. David listening, thank you very much, sir. Bernaise sauce, one of the best handles in the history of Twitter. Bernaise sauce, listening. And Hoochie Coo, another great name. Look at that handle right there. Thank you, Hoochie Coo. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the compliments. Thanks for the kind words. At TJ McCormack. At TJ McCormack. You can at me. Go ahead, at me. I dare you. I dare you. At me. 1-800-848-9222. At TJ McCormack on X, formerly Twitter. So in the 4 a.m. hour, just 9 minutes from now, we are going to be talking a little bit about recovery, if you are so inclined. That's always a welcome phone call, by the way. As I said, and again, it's not about me, but just to say that I am in it. And I'm very blessed to have been saved by my wife. My wife saved my life. Going on 20 years ago. We'll see if I make it to 20 years, but that's coming up. Should I make it, that date is coming. And happy to talk about whatever it is that's ailing you or a friend or a loved one, or what used to ail you or a friend or a loved one. Is there somebody out there right now at 3:52 that's still not home yet? We can talk about it. And it doesn't have to be all sad stuff. Doesn't have to be all misery and, ho-hum and sad. It can be hooray. It can be a victory. And I tell you what, you want to see a bunch of happy, joyous, and free people having a big laugh? Check out an AA meeting sometime. Maybe you need to check out an AA meeting sometime. I'll take you. If that's ever the case, I'll take you. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. Coming up, we're going to talk about recovery. We're going to talk to comedian Ellen Karras. And here's a question too. A couple minutes ago, somebody mentioned Ramapo. Has anybody ever heard of the Ramapo Mountain Indians? Colloquially, and some people say it's kind of a derisive term, but known as the Jackson Whites. Does that ring a bell? I stubbed my toe on that story. It's a bit of a mystery. It's a mysterious clan of people. I believe they've been trying to achieve Native American tribe status. Let's get to, because we have two calls here ready to go. Let's get to Al, line 3. Good morning.
Good morning, man. I must say you are funny.
Oh, thank you.
Listening to your show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, you made my night, buddy.
I just discovered you probably about a month or so ago.
Way cool.
But man, I tell you what, I enjoy your show.
Thank you. Al in Colorado. I am grateful.
I drive a truck. Cool. And I'm all over the country. Yeah. And man, you help me get through the night sometimes.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I appreciate it, man. Where you, so tonight are you from Colorado or are you driving through Colorado tonight?
No, I had to make a delivery here in Colorado. I had like 40,000 pounds of sweet potatoes I had to bring up here.
That's a lot of pie.
And, that is a lot of pie.
That's a lot.
Man, right after my old heart right there.
So what's your lightning story, dude?
Okay, back in 88, I lived in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
And I lived in this trailer park. and one of the trailers was butted up right next to a light pole. I mean, probably couldn't slide a piece of paper between the light pole and the trailer.
Okay.
So this storm came up, and me and the old lady, we were sitting there, and all of a sudden we seen this big, huge flash of blue. And we were just wondering what it was, and then right after that, I started hearing screaming. So I ran out to the front of the trailer park, and I noticed that there was a little bit of smoke coming out from around one of the trailers, so I ran in there to see what was going on.
Uh-huh.
There was the woman sitting on her toilet. She had been, the lightning struck the telephone pole, arced over into the trailer, went up through her pipes and up through her pea string, and it came out the top of her head and arced off into the ceiling. When I got there, the poor woman was slumped over. You could see where the lightning had come out the top of her head, and you could see the bird bark at the top of the ceiling. And
goodness,
that has got to be the craziest way.
Goodness,
that has got to be the craziest way to go ever.
Ow! I mean, that's got to be like, I mean, forget the crazy. I mean, that's like the most. I mean, they say getting struck by lightning is like 1 in a million. I mean, that's like, I mean, there's people who've been struck by lightning listening to that story going, damn. I mean, there's people.
Yeah, I mean, man, I was like, wow, what an undignified way to go.
Dude, there's dead people in heaven listening to this radio via like heaven Wi-Fi, listening to us right now, listening to that story, who died getting struck by lightning, and they are up there in heaven going, damn, that's incredible.
I mean, what are the chances?
None,
I mean,
none.
That's got to be 1 in 60 zillion.
1 in a 60 zillion, quadrillion, Googleillion.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
just
not even a number on that one.
No.
But it sure did.
Little did she know she should have played the lottery that day. Right?
She should have, man. I mean,
brother. Hey, Al, do not.
Lightning, yes.
Seriously, man, don't be a stranger. You made my night with your kind words, and your story was magnificent, and you got a hell of a delivery. I love hearing you talk. So please call back again. I love truck drivers. You guys kept me safe. I used to be a stand-up. I did stand-up in every state in America except Hawaii, and I drove all over the country, and I would always drive with the truckers because you guys know all the rules and all the, you know, where all the cops are. And, I used to go to all the truck stops, and I have a big affinity and a love for over-the-road truckers. So, please, tell your friends about the show, and, don't be a stranger. Call back again, okay?
I most certainly will, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Keep it on the road. Thank you, brother. And all right, so there goes Al in Colorado. He is 10-7 and on the side. Ooh, I did that good, didn't I? All right, 1-800-848. Let's get to Dave real quick in Rockport. Dave, real quick, let's get you in under the wire there, pal.
Yeah, hey, TJ.
Hey.
Happy summer.
And to you.
I owe you an apology because I called you. I hadn't heard you before. I called you a week or two ago, and your voice is one of those that I assumed you're a female.
Oh, yes, I remember that, and that's okay. Like I said, I get the same thing when I call customer service. I think I reach a certain pitch. You're okay.
Yeah, okay. But talking about electricity, my friend of mine was a TV repairman. He had a CB with 100-watt linear, it's way more than you're supposed to have.
Uh-huh.
And used to be able to stand next to his antenna on his truck when he keyed it up.
Right.
And hold a 4-foot fluorescent tube. It would light up all the way to your hand.
Oh, my God. All right, Dave. Thank you, Pally. Thanks for calling. My wife calls me ma'am sometimes. Just to tweak me. Just to tweak me. I love you guys. All right, we're coming back. It's going to be 4 o'clock when we do. It's another side of midnight. My name is TJ McCormack, 1-800-848-9222. Do not go away. Stay right there. We're going to come back, talk about a lot of stuff. Recovery. It's a good side of it. Be right back.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Welcome back to Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormack. This is 77 WABC. And it is 4:05 in the morning. And it is going to be a glorious Saturday. It's going to be a little hot, the beginning of a heat wave, but a lot to be grateful for. A lot to be grateful for. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. Another Side of Midnight. I'm grateful just right there. I mean, honestly, there are so many gifts and so many, like, just, you have to every once in a while sort of stop and take note of what you got. And that's something that is almost impossible when you're in the middle of it sometimes, right? When you're really up against it. Some people, you know, and if you're struggling with addiction, and that addiction, you know, we could be talking about drinking, we could be talking about drugs, we could be talking about sex, we could be talking about retail addictions. People out there with just spreading themselves all over the place on credit cards and on loans, and they're hawking this and they're remortgaging that. I mean, you can be addicted to anything. It's about being powerless over something and your life becoming unmanageable because of that. And, you know, I mean, look, it just is what it is. You find yourself, seemingly feeling like you need something to make it through. And it's an obsession of the mind. It's a disease of the body. It's, you know, some people say it's an allergy. Talking about booze or drugs or whatever it is. But the thing is it doesn't have to be that way. If right now you are struggling, if right now you are indeed up against it, if you've got somebody in your life that you love, if you got somebody in your life that's a pain in the neck because of their situation, it doesn't have to be this way. And by the way, there's help for you too. If you've got someone in your life that you love, a dear friend, a family member, an ex, a spouse, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, there's also help for you, because you're not in this alone. You shouldn't have to bear the brunt of the bad behavior and the choices and decisions that somebody else makes. Doesn't mean you're not going to be talked out of loving them. You're not going to be, if anything, you can love whomever you want, however degree or however little, but it's about loving yourself too. It's about giving yourself a break. And so just a word to anybody out there who's got a friend or a loved one who is in the middle of an addiction, or even on the other side of it. Well, never on the other side of an addiction. No, once an addict, always an addict. I'll be an alcoholic till the day I die, but I'll die sober. Damn it. But for those people, who, have got friends and loved ones is struggling with addiction, Al-Anon, I could not recommend that any more rigorously and vigorously. Al-Anon is the beginning and end of all of it. It's all about boundaries, baby. It's all about boundaries. If you know what I'm talking about, 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. And you can find me. You can, if you follow me and you wanted me to message you, I can follow you back on Twitter and we can direct message. And I'm always here to be of service. If anybody has anything that they need when it comes to addiction or wanting to find out about how I got sober, want to hear a little bit of my experience, strength and hope privately, I'll message you. That's fine. I'll totally do that. You can find me on Twitter. But the thing is that no, it does not have to be that way. And sometimes it takes forever to get that. And, you know, the answers are out there and the promises and the gifts are out there too. A couple minutes ago, I was talking about being out there driving with my 16-year-old, my Millie. Millie was one of the first gifts of my sobriety. The fact that my wife was still there waiting for me when I came out of rehab, that was a gift. Like you wouldn't believe. The bombshell. My beautiful British bombshell, my wife, saved my life by kicking me out of the house. She kicked me out of the house. And the only way, it was a bad night one night. And, I was supposed to have quit. If any of this rings a bell, give a call. You have to give your name. You don't have to say, you know, Larry in Englewood. You just call up. You can be anonymous. You can come up and say, just nowhere. I'm anonymous from parts unknown. 1-800-848-9222. You can give a call. Pete, I see you there. Hang in there. But it was a really pathetic night. I was in the process of making or in the stage of making a deal. Alcoholics are deal makers. Alcoholics are operators. Alcoholics never like to, we're lying, cheating, and stealing constantly. And I was in the deal making business, which meant I was in the lying business. And I was telling my wife, we were living out in Los Angeles at the time. And I was telling her for much until I was blue in the face that I wasn't drinking. I'm not drinking. I'm on a break. And we were going to meet another couple for dinner. I got to the place I thought early. I went to the bar. Again, this was in a really contentious time. Went up to the bar. Thought I had beat everybody there. I ordered a shot. Got that shot. And as I was putting it to my lips, this is right out of every pathetic movie. As I'm putting this illicit shot to my lips, and by the way, I was a fancy drinker. I was a suave drinker. I used to go to the Polo Lounge at the Beverly Hills Hotel in the middle of the day drinking. See, there's day drinking in the Hamptons. There's day drinking at the beach clubs. There's day drinking in Las Vegas. And there's day drinking in Studio City, California, during the day at O'Connell's Pub or the Pineapple Hill. Whew, that was a bar. Best cheeseburgers in the valley. But anyway, I in the early days of my drinking, I'd get dressed up during the day to go drinking. I'd go take a meeting in Hollywood for my big fancy comedy career. I'd go meet with somebody from a writer. I'd go meet with a network executive, pitch a show, all fancy with my cufflinks, and then I'd go drink. Anyway, by now that I'm in the deal mate, now you fast forward a few years, I'm not drinking beautiful gin and tonics with gorgeous imported limes. Now I'll just take that quick shot of the cheapest bourbon that you got. Give me a warm shot in a shot glass. That'll be fine. Anything to numb. Anything to shut the world up. Just shut the world up. Turn me off. And understand, I was a stand-up comic. I was a comedy writer. I was everybody's dream. I was everybody's happy little Irish monkey. Ooh. Yeah. Cutie patootie, little TJ, little funny guy. Dark, sad. Anyway, I take that shot, I put it to my lips. Right there as I'm doing that, there's my wife. There's Andrea. Right there. Looking at me. Sees it. Did I do the shot? She turned around and bolted out the door. I did the shot. Of course I did the shot. My wife just saw me. She just ran out. My wife just ran out. Of course I did the shot. Nasty, warm, well bourbon. Yuck. Later that night, she kicked me out. We'll get back to me in a second. Let's get over to if we can, please, may we get to line 2. I believe anonymous in line 2. Good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight. I'm TJ. No, not there too? All right, let's get to Matt in New Brunswick. Good morning, brother.
Hello?
Hey there, Matt. Good morning in New Brunswick. How are you?
Hey, good. Hey, I was just going to say, I got sober. It took me 2 times. I went to rehab twice, but my life has just improved so much. Just the opportunities that open up for you, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I recommend it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
How bad was it? What were you up against? What was life like? What was it, as we do, what was it like? What happened and what's it like now?
I don't have like a tragic story. I never been arrested. I never had a DWI. I was just cheating myself out of life. Just like you say, the isolation, the just being upset all the time, and I'd cry at night, like, oh God, please help me. But you know what the thing is, like, God helps those who helps others, and you got to change yourself first, and God will help you.
Yeah.
And I just suggest to anybody, please, you're missing out on so much. It's just so nice. Like right now, I'm heading down to Wildwood.
Yeah.
Just to go fishing with my buddies. It's just like to wake up in the morning and feel great. It's just it's such a blessing. And anybody, it can happen to anybody. And like I said, just do it. Your life will change. I promise you.
Indeed.
And opportunities will open up, and just things will get better, and you better relationships with your family and friends, and just feeling good about yourself, just not having that weight hanging around your neck all the time. And people out there that are listening and are drinking, like, they know. I mean, I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, life does get better, and you just got to believe and go to the meetings. When I relapsed the second time, I got out of rehab. I was good for about a year, and then I just stopped going to the meetings. But keep on going. I go try to make one every day, if not, every other day. But that's the thing. I didn't get a sponsor, and I didn't go to the meeting, and I stopped going to the meetings. I thought I had it. I could do this. I don't need this. I know I'm not an alcoholic. I can have a beer here, a beer there. It started with one, then 2, then it kept on going. But thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you, Matt. I was going to say 1's too many and 15's not enough, right?
Never stop. It was just like, it's always I could do it tomorrow. I could stop tomorrow. You can't. It just keeps on going and going and going until it's too late. And I'm lucky I didn't have get cirrhosis or anything. And then, it's only a matter of time, man.
Well, yeah.
And
and thank you, Matt. Thanks for calling. And as Matt can attest, one thing is for sure is it's, somebody who needs to quit drinking or quit doing drugs. If any addict, an addict who doesn't eventually get sober will end up in one of 3 places. Will end up in a jail, an institution, hospital, mental, or dead. We're all going to end up number 3, but prematurely. That's it. That's it. That's the fact. And, something Matt was talking about that, it's like, it's not always a terrible sob story. It's not always, and I can do it tomorrow. I can do, and part of it too is, very often what doesn't get us over the hump is a lot of times we'll say, oh, what the hell's the point? And my dear buddy, my sponsor, one of his favorite sayings is anytime you're sitting there and you're thinking, what the hell is the point? You're the point. You're the point. The first person that you gotta remind who you love is you. You gotta love you, cause this is hard work getting well again. Lee in Queens, line 2. Good morning.
Hey, yes. Hi, TJ.
Hey.
I'm Lee.
Hi, Lee.
I was listening to you, I think last week, and you said that there's no such thing as a bad day. And I was in Graymore. I've been sober for 8 years, and, you know, we got a long story. But
okay.
The spiritual advisor said you didn't have a drink today, and any day that you don't have a drink is a good day. And I lost my father in sobriety, and I lost some people in sobriety, a lot of friends and whatnot. And those were sober references. I didn't have to have a drink to get over it.
Right. Great.
But when you said that, it brought it home, because I said, you know, you said the day in the totality isn't bad. I may have a bad minute, a bad hour, but I'm not going to have a bad day. So it really brought that home.
Cool.
You know, like more will be revealed.
Yes.
After, you know, after like 10 years after I heard that from this priest, it all just sank in. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So appreciate you saying that.
Oh, yeah, no, cool. And listen, too, you know, Lee, you know what goes along with that, too, is being able to start any day over. I mean, that has saved my damn marriage, because I mean, my wife, there have been times I have been looking at a fire-breathing dragon, my wife, who I am capable of making so unbelievably angry and she's right. When she's angry at me, it's never a bad reason. I earn it. But I can't tell you how many times I feel like I'm backing away from like a ninja about to kill me. And I'm like, let's start over. Let's just take this moment. Let's use this as a learning moment, and let's just start over. Okay, please don't kill me. Let's start over. You know, I mean, and the beautiful thing is too, and here's the other gift. Here's the other promise is, again, my 16-year-old, my 13-year-old, my two girls. I've already had a conversation with my 16-year-old. She knows my story. My 13-year-old, I'm going to have that with next. And I'm just waiting for the sake of waiting. I'm not really, you know, but here's the thing. I've been able to teach them about there's no such thing as a bad day. You can start it over. And my 13-year-old has been having some drama at school, girl stuff, girls against girls and friends. And some of the stuff that my wife and I impart onto her, my wife's not an addict, but my wife went to Al-Anon, so she's got the whole deal. And we've been able to teach our girls about starting over, about, you know, taking a breath, about being quiet, about not swinging at every pitch and not getting angry and so you can spread those gifts around, right? Just like the ramifications of our drinking and using ripple out and touch everybody, so can the benefits of our sobriety, right?
Absolutely. Another one is my first meeting. I remember somebody said, I'm so-and-so, I'm a grateful alcoholic.
Yeah.
And that's like, what the hell is a grateful alcoholic?
Right.
And of course, more will be revealed. And it was like, I have these tools to live life on life's terms that I wish like regular people had, because I see them walking around mad as hell. They're like dry drunks, but they're not alcoholic.
Right.
And they can't deal with, think, this too will pass.
Yep.
And all these
this too shall pass.
That we have.
Absolute. Keep it simple.
Yeah. These little tools to get over it. My favorite is, this is a luxury problem. People pull their hair out over this little thing. My car's not starting. This is a luxury problem.
Right. And have this one. And I'll leave you with this one, Lee. Has this one. I get to.
Yes.
I get to. Later today, I got to go to a family party, and there's been some angst and some annoyance, and I'm going to be leaving here at 5 a.m. I'm going to have about 4 hours sleep to go to this family party. But you know what? I get to go to this family party. I get to be with family. I get to tell my nephew, congratulate, right? Have to, get to. There you go. Lee, thanks for calling, brother. Love you. Thank you so much for calling. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. Grab a cup of bad coffee. Welcome to the meeting. It's another side of midnight. My name is TJ McCormack. I'm not drinking today. We're talking about recovery, and you can hear there's an upside. There's an upside to this conversation. Yes, drinking and drugging and all that and addiction is a bad thing, but it doesn't have to be that way, and there's answers to it all. And you're the point. You're why it should stop. And so is your wife, and so is your daughters, and so is your son, and so is your mom and dad. But it starts with you. You got to look in the mirror and give yourself a break. And so we've had brilliant, beautiful stuff here on another side of midnight. This is what we talk about. We're family. We're the non-dysfunctional. We're dysfunctional. We're a mess, aren't we? I want to make sure I was just going to go to Ruben in Iowa. Ruben, he's back. Okay. Let's make sure as soon as we get an opportunity, let's bring Ruben up because he's all the way in Iowa. There you go. Good morning, Ruben. Hello. Where in Iowa are you, sir?
I am in Des Moines.
I love Des Moines,
Iowa.
I love Des Moines, Iowa.
I was a Navy corpsman, and I understand. I've been, like I said, I've kind of been an alcoholic for the whole time I was in the Navy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And are you sober now?
I am sober now.
Yeah. How long?
But I'm 62 years old.
Oh wow.
So it took me a long time. I was in Grenada.
Oh, okay. So you saw
I've seen
action.
some things that I shouldn't have seen.
Did that?
And it kind of messed me up. My wife died, and
I'm sorry.
My mother died, and I kind of fell off the wagon. So
what got you? What was it like to come? So you had been sober, and then you fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
So how was it coming back? How was it when you fell off the wagon? Was it worse than it was the first time around?
It was, because I had to live it. I actually had to live at the VA for a month, and they kind of cleaned me up a little bit.
Okay.
And that's been about 2 years. So
you got about 2 years under you. That's great. That's great. And so how have things gotten better in the 2 years? Tell me what the difference between now and 2 years ago, other than the fact that you're waking up without a headache.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually got a roof over my head. I don't have to stay in the shelters anymore. So.
Oh, that's brilliant. Dude, look at that. So you were staying, so you were homeless.
I was homeless
2 years ago.
Yeah. Yes.
Tell you what, gang.
A homeless vet.
A homeless vet. Boy, those are words that we never want to hear next to each other. And now, so you've got a roof over your head, and it's not a shelter. It's your own place, or at least you're renting it, right?
It's my own place.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And, like I said, my dad kind of helped me out a little bit. My sister helped me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I got food in the refrigerator, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Good for you. You feel like you open that fridge, you wake up in the morning, you got a roof over your head, you look in the fridge, there's food in it, you feel like a rich man, don't you?
I just feel like a man.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
You know?
Ooh, that's beautiful.
I just feel like a man again.
That's beautiful. Something about this whole thing. I mean, do you do meetings? Do you do AA?
I don't. I go to the VA.
Yeah, that's cool. No, everybody's different. Everybody's different.
I hang out with the guys over there.
You talk to the fellas. You talk to the fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
we talk about things. And,
because you know what? You got to live out loud. That's another thing too, gang. The stuff the stuff you keep inside. We're as sick as our secrets, right, Ruben?
Yes, you are. You are absolutely right.
You don't talk, especially guys, especially fellas. Fellas keep stuff bottled up. We keep stuff. And over the last 10, 15 years, Ruben, there's been an epidemic. There's been an epidemic of men, with not just addiction, but also depression, anxiety. There's been suicide. Men in America got to live out loud, and there's no shame in saying, I am broken and I need some help.
Well, hey, man, you said it all right there, because I thought about all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought about, just checking out,
Right. But you're the point, man. It's like my sponsor says, you're the point. Look at you living. That's beautiful. Here I was saying, you just feel like a man. That's gorgeous. Ruben, brother, always give a call anytime you want, even if we're not talking about this. If you want to call
up. I hear you, man.
Anytime.
I hear you.
All right, brother?
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. God bless. Love you, brother. All right. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. We're getting you up to the 5 a.m. hour with Liz Radabali and the 5 a.m. news hour here on a beautiful Saturday morning. Beautiful, more beautiful for some than others. Just spoke to a few people for whom this is a gorgeous Saturday morning. at 4:30. We've got, all right. So you know what? We're going to take a quick break. We got Larry. Larry, stay right the hell there. I see you. I see you right there. I see what you want to talk about. Do not move. Bob, you too. Pete, we'll get to you. 4:30 in the morning. It's another side of midnight. My name is TJ McCormack, and this is 77 WABC. We're talking about the good stuff.
It's another side of midnight. 77 WABC. It's another side of midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning, family. 4:34 here on 77 WABC. It's another side of midnight. My name is TJ McCormack, and I am grateful for everyone tuning in. I'm grateful to everyone checking in over on Twitter, on X. A lot of people listening. I'm grateful for the kind words of great support for the show, and I'm grateful for everybody who's been sort of chiming in on this subject of recovery. Because again, it's the good stuff. Now let's see what's up. Larry in Brooklyn, you've been waiting and I'm glad you did. Good morning.
TJ.
Hey there.
Reach out and touch. Come on, sing it with me. Somebody.
Are you there? All right. So look, Larry, did you have something that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, the people who really have problems drinking, they have to reach out to friends and family or anybody that can help them. They need people around them to help them. It's not that easy to get over that goal line. You got to be pushed over the goal line and helped. And a lot of people, they have, let's face it, we have different personalities. Some people have addictive personalities and they,
but you got to start with yourself, though, right? I mean, you could be surrounded by an army of people, and if you don't want to do it, if you got, if everybody's trying to get that one family problem drinker or drugger to do something, I mean, I can personally tell you, I recently had somebody close to me with my last name, and there was a whole family of people who all thought they were doing the right thing. God bless them. Some of them were in the ballpark, but you had this whole group there had to be at least 12 something adults trying to get this one adult. And that was the problem. They were trying to, but he didn't want any part of it. Right? So that's part of it, is that you can be surrounded by great people. The magic is when you surrender. The addict surrenders, and then they can be lifted up and supported by that army of people. But you're right. You're right. It does take a village. Ooh, did I just quote Hillary in this moment? Oh, God forbid. Thanks for calling in, Larry. Thank you, buddy. I believe next we've got, Bob in Garden City. Good morning. Good morning, Bob.
Yeah, hi, this is Bob. I'm actually from Fort Washington.
Oh, good morning.
Hey, I gave up drinking 2 years ago.
Cool.
I had a stroke on the morning of April 20th, 2023.
Wow.
And I went to the hospital. I was in a really great hospital here in Long Island, St. Francis. And I guess that was my rock bottom. Not that drinking was the only cause of my stroke. I had some other issues going on. I was very depressed. I had put on a lot of weight.
Right.
But I spoke to the psychiatrist when I was there being treated for my stroke. He diagnosed me as bipolar, and I put me on some Lexapro, which I started taking religiously. I've been taking it to this day. Okay. And I came out, and I was supposed to go into a program, and the psychiatrist at St. Francis was the one who signed me up for it. And he said, unfortunately, there's not a bed available right now, but they'll get in touch with you as soon as there is. So I came home, and I was doing my home recovery, just trying to do good things like exercise more, eat healthy, and not drinking, of course.
Sure.
And about 2.5 weeks into my home recovery, I got a call from the rehab center. I said, "Great news for you. We have a bed opening on Friday." And I kind of thought to myself, kind of doing okay at home by myself. And I got into a heavy-duty exercise program. I started riding a bike. I always lifted weights, but I added bike riding and a ton of sit-ups to my routine. And I just said, if I go to one of these places, it's going to cut into my exercise.
It's going to curtail all that. Yeah, and look, you can always go. So what happened?
Yeah. Well, I was very successful. I mean, I just stopped.
Good for you.
I stopped drinking, and it's.
Do you go to meetings?
I also lost. No, never went to I went to a meeting 1 year into my recovery only because a friend who was used to repair our cars in town, and he was a big AA guy, and I spoke to him about my issue. But I never. He encouraged me to go to meetings, but I just never went.
They're not for everybody. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like it's not the same religious thing for me that it had been. You can imagine in my early recovery, but it's a part of my life. But it ain't. I'm not doing 90 meetings every 90 days. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But
I actually do my exercise as kind of my meeting.
That's great.
And, I'll do at least a 25 to 30 mile bike ride every day.
You had a stroke 2 years ago. God bless you. Go ahead.
Yeah, on Father's Day, I did a new single, continuous bike ride, record. I did 60 miles. That was my dad's day.
We should all have a stroke and recover. We should all have this kind of recovery in our life. Way to go, Bob.
Well, you know what I was thinking? Maybe something happened in my brain because, when I think about my ability just to give it up, it was like, I have to describe it as easy peasy. It was like something just triggered in my brain and said, why am I being so stupid? Why am I, how much alcohol I was consuming? I was doing, those big cheap bottles of vodka, the 1.75 liter bottles.
Oh, God.
I would go through one of those every 2 days.
You're drinking those big jugs of vodka that are made in New Mexico.
Whatever. They're $20 bottles.
Yeah.
1.75 liters.
Yep.
And I would put one of those down every 2 days.
Woof.
And I was functioning, believe it or not. I was working.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you. No, it's dude, it's by the grace of God, 2 years later, you're setting personal bests with your 60-mile bike rides, and thank God you're there, Bob. All right. Thanks for calling in.
And I lost 70 pounds.
And you lost 70
pounds in the process.
Oofa.
Yeah.
Way to go, buddy. Way to go.
It's been great. I'm now the perfect grandchild of my Irish grandmother.
She's happy.
Well, when I was a kid growing up, I used to promise her, Grandma, when I grew up, because my grandfather was a drunk and my father was a drunk, and I remember being together at the holidays, and my father and my grandfather and some of my uncles, who were all boozing it up in the dining room, and I was in the parlor with my Irish grandmother. And I'd say, and she would always tell me, Bobby, it's a drink.
Oh boy.
And I said, Grandma, when I grow up, I'm never going to smoke, drink, or drink coffee or tea.
Well, now you're there. No, now you drink, Bob, I got to jump. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Pally. 1-800-848-9222. He talked about that too. A few minutes ago, we talked about the rings, like when you throw a pebble into a pond and the ripple effect, the ripples, the actions and the shenanigans, the garbage that the addict displays just ripples out. The number of people that one alcoholic, one addict impacts negatively. It's just like, you just can't, and that can impact an entire side of a family for generations. I'm curious. There's another little wrinkle in the conversation. 1-800-848-9222. It's 77 WABC. And we're having a family conversation here, our early morning bunch here on a Saturday morning on another side of midnight. Just wondering, do you have a side of the family that was impacted by, typically by drinking? These days, drinking and drugs. Is there a side of the family that just, you see one side but not the other? It's okay. I'm trying to narrow this. I've never asked this question before. So let me try to put it like this. Does this sound familiar? You've got your mom's side, your dad's side. You got the daughter's side of the family, the son's side of the family. And you tend to really only see one side. Is the side of the family that you don't see, is there alcoholism over there? Is there addiction on that side? I'm telling you, it was a clear delineation in my family growing up. Clear. And look, there was alcoholism on both sides, but one side had some truly dark stuff. And that was the side we'd see once or twice a year. The other side, we lived in their back pockets. 1-800-848-9222. The ramifications, the bad behavior, that stuff, the sad stuff, has that marked your family, and is that the side that you don't see? Gary in Inwood. Good morning, Gary.
All is a criticism, nothing to do with the subject.
Oh, okay.
Okay, 2 weeks in a row, in the 4 o'clock hour.
Yes.
Last week you advertised Curtis, this week a comedian.
Yes.
You haven't followed through on either one, and you dismiss it and do not say anything to your listening audience.
I apologize for that. It was a time management thing, and you're not wrong. Last week was beyond my control. Tonight is in my control, and I'm going to make it up to you tomorrow night. You're correct, Gary. You're not wrong. Gary. Okay. So, Gary's not wrong. Tomorrow night we're going to have Ellen Karras, the comedian, and I apologize for that. That was my fault. I didn't do good time management there. But she will be with us tomorrow night. Let's see. Candy. Oh, I'm sorry. Michael in New Jersey, line 5. Michael, good morning.
Hi. I'm calling because maybe I can help. I don't know. I was a smoker. I loved smoking. I smoked a pack of unfiltered cigarettes for 31 years. I stopped 37 years ago and I haven't had one. And the only thing that, the way it stopped was my wife turned to me one day and said, secondhand smoke. I said, what? I never heard of it. It was something new. She said, I can get cancer from you. My mother died of cancer, breast cancer. I said, I'll be damned if I'm going to kill my wife. And so I went out and I wanted to stop smoking, and I couldn't stop. It was impossible.
Wow.
And finally, I came across something that helped me. I figured out I have to make it impossible. I said, I'm not a bird, therefore I cannot fly. I am not a smoker, and therefore I cannot smoke. That's the only thing for 20 years after, I still wanted to smoke.
Wow.
I remember walking over to somebody after 10 years and saying, excuse me, can I borrow your pack of cigarettes for a minute? I just want to smell it.
Wow. Oh yeah, no, I know. And look, to this day,
hardcore.
To this day, I
would be dead.
Yeah.
By now, or have emphysema.
Yeah. I smoked and drank. I gave up drinking first. A year later, I gave up smoking. And to this day, I'll never smell booze and say, that smells good. Maybe red wine. I might smell a red wine at an Italian restaurant and go, ooh. But a cigarette, I could walk past a cigarette anywhere and go, oof. That would be, cause it's just there, man. That's why they call it the devil's disease. It's always on your shoulder. Addiction is always on your shoulder. It's always right there, and it doesn't go away. And that's why they call it the devil's disease. And, the temptation is always there to go back to it. And, that's why you always got to stay one step ahead. Thanks for calling. Let's see. We've got, you know what it is? I've got Candy and Pete. So both y'all stay there. We've got a, last break of the morning. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. We are talking about the, good side of this sad conversation. We're talking about recovery. We're talking about addiction, but we're talking about recovery and the potential recovery. But if you're not in recovery, if you've got something that you want to get off your chest, by all means. And yes, tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, we will absolutely have Ellen Karras, one of the funniest women you ever heard. Apologies for that. This hour took off in a way that I didn't anticipate. So it was a time management thing. So gang, when we return, we will talk to Candy and Pete. And this is Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormack at 77 WABC. Thank you all for being here so much. It's important stuff. We shall return in just a moment. Stay right there.
All night long. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
4:51 a.m. We're bringing you up to the 5 a.m. news hour with Liz Radabali. My name is TJ McCormack. This is indeed Another Side of Midnight. Really having a fascinating evening with y'all. And again, this hour took off. It really just suddenly gained momentum, and we had loads of people on the lines. And so with some compelling conversation about addiction and recovery. And again, we'll always have a green light for just about anything you want to talk about, on this program, Saturday and Sunday morning, every Saturday and Sunday morning from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. here on 77 WABC. And, again, we always try to bring you some energy, want to bring you some laughs, want to bring you some compelling conversation. Tomorrow night, I gotta stop doing that. I gotta have a little shocker. We gotta have like some sort of connection where Tony or Bill just sends an electric jolt to my pinky toe. Tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, we're going to have a fascinating, compelling conversation with Professor Lucy Easthope. And Professor Easthope is a UK-based expert on urban disasters, if you will. And if you will, then you will love the show. Because part of the conversation surrounding Iran and regime change and what we've got to do and bunker busters and the nuclear program and all of that and what happens and what happens and what if. Well, one of the things, and it caught my ear a couple of times over the last week when you had some experts on TV saying, we've got to keep our eye on the sleeper cells. We have to keep our eye on those terrorists that are already dispatched. And we have to keep in mind that there are still unaccounted for, small, what do they call them? They call them the briefcase bombs, that kind of thing. So what happens if in the event of an awful situation in an urban center like New York City or Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta? So to me, it's a fascinating thing because it's always this, they could blow up a briefcase, a suitcase bomb. They could detonate the dirty bomb. That's the phrase. Dirty bomb. What does that mean? And what does that mean to a population center like New York? We're going to ask her, do states, here you go. We've been making fun of Kathy Hochul, rightfully, all morning this Saturday morning. Do you have any faith that Kathy Hochul will have appointed the right people who could execute the right plan to empty New York City if need be in the event of that sort of attack? We're going to talk to Professor Lucy Easthope tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, from the UK. She's going to join us and explain to us what happens in those scenarios and what are we looking for and what exactly constitutes an urban disaster like that. What could it mean? So we're going to do that. And yes, he wasn't wrong. We're going to talk to very funny woman and a dear friend, Ellen Karras. She will be on the show tomorrow night. Apologies for the oversight there. All right. Candy in Flushing, I am grateful for your waiting. Please, my apologies for keeping you there. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm actually from Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up with a brother that was smoking pot very young. He was dipping into all kinds of drugs. And my mother decided it's time for him to go. And she let him out. She let him out of the house. He wound up in jail. He wound up in jail. He wound up in rehab. And then he wound up dead. He had a heart attack on the street at 52.
Oof.
Sorry. Wait, hold on a minute. Okay. And I never realized how strong addiction was until one day I was coming home from work. I work in Manhattan. And I'm driving past, there's Sewell Avenue. And I know if I make a right, there's Pizza on the Run, which gives the most delicious wide. It's like 3 pizzas in one. And I wanted it so bad because I have a food thing going on. Okay. And I wanted that pizza. And I said, no, I'm not going to get that pizza. And I kept going and I wanted to scream. And after that, then years later, I realized I did have a food addiction. And I was eating and eating and eating. And I went to the doctor. I'm like 5 feet. I was 167. Oof. Went to the doctor. He said, you have high blood pressure and cholesterol. You need to go on medication. And I'm like, Miss Natural. I didn't want to do that. So I didn't go. I said, I'm not going to go on the medication. I'm going to do it myself. I know how. I went vegan. I was eating salads and smoothies and all the good foods. And then I wound up with a stroke because I was on uncontrolled everything. Oh. And I was going to Dunkin' Donuts and then maybe Popeyes and disgusting. Wouldn't go home and eat it because then I'd be a hypocrite to my kids. And then I would just start eating all night. And I wound up with a stroke. And after the stroke, I lost 36 pounds. The hospitals don't do anything for you. They give you garbage food in a stroke unit. Went home, changed my whole diet, started going to the gym every morning at 5:30. It's across the street from my house, very easy.
That's convenient.
And I felt good. But then, it's a struggle because I still struggle with it. Now, my blood tests are okay. They're not perfect because, I went to Alabama on vacation.
Well, tell me this, Candy, because I don't want to have to leave you quickly because the top of the hour is coming up. How are you doing? How are you doing now, love?
I'm doing okay, but I still have a little thing going on that I have to scream about because I can't eat the foods I want to eat. So
no, but you know what? But you get to eat the foods that you should eat because you're still alive and you're getting healthier. So that's kind of like what we talked about earlier, right? I have to and I get to. I have to go see some family people that are going to, drive me nuts today.
Yes, that's definitely a helpful analogy. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I congratulate everybody that's doing this because it's not easy.
Yeah. Hey, you beat me to it, love. You beat me to it there, Candy.
My first radio call.
Hey, I'm glad it was me.
I love this station. I work from home. I listen to it all day long.
Candy, don't be a stranger. So be a part of the show anytime you want. Thank you. You're thanking me. Thank you. Pete, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't get to you there, Pally. But we'll talk tomorrow. Everybody, congratulations to everybody who's on the road to recovery. And God bless everybody who's struggling. It doesn't have to be like that. You can get there. And you can find me on Twitter if you want to talk about it, at TJ McCormack. I'll be here tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, for another side of midnight here on 77 WABC. Liz Radabali is next with the 5 a.m. news hour. God bless, and I wish you all the luck in the world.